Okay guys, welcome back to video 2 and in the last video we talked about Coda, and one of the plugins that works really well with Coda is Zen Coding. So let's have a brief look over that. Okay, so you can get Zen Coding from code.google.com/p/Zen Coding, and you can just Google it. It's gonna be the first link to show up. Go to downloads page and you have all the plugin downloads for various editors, even Dreamweaver, TextMate, Notepad++, and my favorite editor, Coda. So go ahead and download this. I already done this. So when you download it and unpack it, you get a README file and the T for Coda plugin, and you just double click this and it's gonna install. Now if we open up Coda, let's start with some basic HTML, and uh, Zen Coding has a bunch of options as you can see here, but the one I'm using the most is the abbreviation. So the abbreviation works something like this, and it's a very easy way to create a complicated pieces of code by just typing in words in kind of a shorthand form. So let's say we want to have a div with an ID of container and a class of center, and that div has a paragraph inside it. So we're gonna put this sign and we're gonna say paragraph. Let's give it a class of text. And if we expand on that, it's going to be it's going to expand to the structure that we want. So this is very handy. Imagine when you have something very complex, and it's just so much easier for you to write a single line of code that expands to like 10 or 20 lines, rather than just going and writing those 20 lines of code. It's very time saving. So let me just walk you very quickly through some of the um, properties here and the abbreviations. So let's start with the hash. Hash represents ID. You gotta remember that. So hash container means ID container. Dot represents the class, and you can add multiple classes. So you can have a class of a line, you can have another class, let's call it class 2, and even another class of class 3. Okay. This represents kind of includes. So what's after the sign will be included inside that container div. So let's say we want to add a list. So UL, let's give it a class of items, and that list will have some list items, right? So we're gonna say list item times 5, and that's gonna give us 5 list items, which is very cool. And let's say each list item has to have um, a different, an incremental ID. So what we can do here is go ID, and let's call this item, and we're gonna have $sign times let's say 5. So let's go ahead and expand it using Control E. That's the default shortcut, and let's see what happens. Nothing happens. Seems I've made a mistake here. Yeah, sorry, without times 5, because we have times 5 right here. Okay, so expand now, and what happened is it created the div with its 3 classes. The list and the 5 list item, and it gave them each a different ID, an incremental ID from 1 to 5, and that's very, very handy. And you can do a bunch of stuff with it. For example, you can add attributes as well. So you're gonna have, let's say, anchor tag, and the square brackets represents the attributes. So you can have title equals something, and you can also have an href equals nothing, and you can include an img that has a source of images slash, I don't know, image png. So if you expand on that, it creates our link with the title and the href and then the img with its source, and it also creates an alt automatically. So very, very handy. Let's see what else. You can create some very quick lists, for instance. So ul plus, expand it, and it creates a list item, a list with a single list item, and it works with tables as well. So table plus, even though nobody uses tables anymore, it's there if you need it. And that's pretty much it, really. um, oh, one other thing. Imagine you have this list and it's a menu, so you have to go and fill in the menu items here, and then um, go to the next one and move your cursor into the right position, and that can be a bit annoying. So what you can do is you can fill in the menu and then press Control Alt and the right arrow, and it just takes you to the next editable to the next editable element. So in my case, it's the list item. So say home, portfolio, next it's gonna be services, next it's gonna be, I don't know what else, contact and blog, for instance. And that's that's a bit easier than just clicking or going with your cursor and finding the right place to input the text. Okay, guys. So if you want additional information, you can go to their webpage, and you can click on this link here. Read more about current Zen coding syntax, and you have a full list of all the selectors and the proper way to use them. So Zen coding, use it. Very cool, very time saving, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys back in part 3.